Good morning, welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Bob Hoey, the host. We got Cisco Maldonado right next to me, John Zimini, coach out at St. John's next to him, and Tom Bomil, the best host on this show altogether. We can't touch you, Tom.
No, we can't.
But I want to start by saying I work for 4 mayors in the city of Lowell on the school committee, and God bless Ed Kennedy. Today's his funeral. His wake is today. Yeah, I'm sorry. But my prayers go out to his wife and his family, and you're going to be missed, Ed, so take care.
I've known Eddie Kennedy for going on like 50 years. I met him when he first ran for council back when I was involved with the city politics, and didn't always agree with him, but we got along for the most part. And the last time I think I saw him was right here sitting next to us in the show, Bobby. And just a sudden death like that, he's too young, and he did a lot for the city as a mayor, as a councilor, as a senator. So God rest his soul.
He did a lot for the surrounding areas too.
Right.
Tingsboro and Greater Lowell Technical High School.
Right.
Eric Gitchia told me how many things he did just for the school alone.
Yeah.
Getting money for a baseball field or a football field, something like that.
Sure. So.
No, he's going to be missed.
Yep.
And like I said, just my prayers go out to his wife and family. And later on in the show, when we get the City Life show, I might talk a little bit about my own city, but I want to jump over Cisco for just a minute and say to John Zimini, I've been seeing a lot on Facebook about the school committee in Drake.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's been
Drake it.
I just want to, and the sad thing about this whole thing is what it did to Rebecca Duda. Her middle name is Honesty, and what they did to her, that's oh my God.
It's beyond comprehension.
Yeah,
What's going on over there.
Have you heard anything about a recall? Because I
Yes.
keep hearing people are going to start getting
Yeah.
sick. Okay.
I think you should take Cisco's life out. I'll get you
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry. What was
Well,
the
we're
question?
talking about Rebecca, and
Oh, yeah.
I said I heard possible recall coming.
Oh, yes. There's a couple of different groups that are coalescing that are
Okay.
putting together I'm not that much involved in it. I know
Sure.
about it, but there's a couple people that are doing it at this point. I'm not quite sure who's going to be the lead of it.
Sure.
But it's all coming together, and I think they're going to try to recall 2 members. I think they're looking at Allison Volpe and Renee Young,
Yeah.
because those 2 seem to be the ones who are taking up the ball to protect everybody that's involved in all this stuff.
My God. Yeah.
You know, I mean, this whole issue. I mean, Rebecca Duda, Dr. Duda, is now the focus because they need to take the focus off of the issues. What the school committee should have done from the very beginning is call for a investigation into all of this stuff. Own it and then go from there. But no, they rather stand up and defend this bad behavior by people within the school department, and it didn't start with just one thing. I mean, it's 4 or 5 things, Bob. It's procurement. It's the lease at the Parker Ave. It's the director of buildings and grounds who was overpaid. There's a whole plethora of stuff that's going on over there that they're just pushing to the side and blaming everybody else. They want to know where you got the information. They want to know where the public square of our times, which is social media.
Yep.
They want to know where people like me and Rebecca and Josh Taylor. They want to know where we got the information. Well, it's pretty easy to get that stuff. There's plenty of people out there that want to be whistleblowers, and there's plenty of people out there that want to tell the truth. Now, you got to go through it. You got to really sift through it to see what's fact and what's fiction. But when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So I mean, these things have been going on for years. Just ask any parent that's had to deal with the school department. you'll get 100 different stories.
I was talking to a former school department employee who's retired the other day. Not retired the other day. I was talking to her the other day. Retired from the administration office, and
Right.
The story she's telling me about the term being used, bully.
Yeah.
Stephen Stone, I knew wasn't a boy because he needed me. I mean, I was
Yeah,
health
right.
director, but I mean, I couldn't believe what she was telling me. And certain people were treated certain ways, and others
Yep.
were not. And wow.
I mean,
So-
they're building, or they're trying to build a $180 million school to
Not
combine
happening.
Greenmont and the Campbell. If you notice now, all of that has quelled down, and they're now pointing their fingers in other ways, and they've taken the main issues off the front burner.
Yeah.
But they're going to come back up again. I mean, most of it is stuff that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that people are making this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they point the finger at Rebecca and said that she posted something on the internet, information she got from Middlesex County retirement system.
Which is public record, I
Which is
guess I
public,
would-
well,
yeah.
right, it's public record.
Yeah.
And I got information and I posted it, and of course, they're trying to scrutinize every little thing you say and every little thing you do and try to make you the issue. Like, I'm the issue on my end because I don't live in Draycott anymore. So I had the Lowell Sun reporter ask me the other day, she came up to me and said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." She says, "Do you live in Pelham?" I said, "No." I says, "But what does that have to do with anything?" I says, "Does that mean I can't speak about anything? I can't talk about Washington, D.C. because I don't live in Washington, D.C.?
Right.
I can't talk about Lowell because I don't live..." I said, "Where do you live?" I says, "You don't live in Draycott." She says, "No." I says, "The superintendent of schools doesn't live in Draycott. The manager doesn't live in Draycott. The police chief doesn't live in Draycott. The finance director of the schools doesn't live in Draycott."
I hate to tell you, most of the town hall employees don't live in Draycott
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
I'll tell that story that when I worked for the town, when I started for the town, everybody in town hall lived in the town.
So I ran a campaign, and one of the things that I brought up was residency. So what's your opinion in regards to residency for employees? At least partial, like I think there has to be some residency just to keep some of that income in the cities, you know what I mean? It seems like with all these towns, all the good jobs seem to support other towns, and I think some of that money should stay
Yeah.
in the
Well,
towns. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on in Draycott too, because,
I just want to answer your question. For an example, custodians in Lowell, we have roughly 100 of them, and more than half don't live in Lowell. They can't find custodians in Lowell. See, a speech pathologist, yeah, you might have to go out of town for certain jobs, but a custodian, 100% of them should be from the city of Lowell. That's just my opinion. But I want to get back to John Zimini for a minute. My favorite thing, and I followed most of what's going on, was when Josh Taylor got on live, sitting in his truck.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
Practically in tears, by the way.
well, yeah, but it was over teachers not getting a paycheck. But, man, was that beautiful. He just nailed it. And Rebecca Duda, the reason why they're going after her is because she goes out on the Monday night dinner club with you.
Yeah.
That's the real reason.
That's one of the reasons.
That's
Yeah,
what,
you're
oh,
right.
to me,
Yeah.
that's definitely the reason, so.
Well, they're attacking Rebecca and me and Taylor. They're trying to say that we have gotten together to have this big coup, right? I didn't make the issue. Rebecca didn't make the issue, or issues, and neither did Taylor make the issues. We're only bringing them to light, which is what your job is as a public official. You shouldn't be hiding anything. And if there is a question of something going wrong, then you should be in the forefront to make sure that it, A, gets exposed for what it is, and then, B, corrected. But they're not doing any of that. They're just saying it's everybody else's problem but theirs.
John, I
And-
want to read these.
Sure.
Me?
Yeah.
The school department in Draycott is a mismanaged organization, always hat in hand. Have you broke ground on the pickleball courts at the high school? Wasted money.
Pickleball's
Courts.
courts are done.
Yeah.
which is, they're done. That's part of the controversy, because they tried to get a change order for something that wasn't in the original construction documents. And the manager stopped it, and they went out and got bids, or the school committee, not the school committee, but the school department under the guise of the buildings and grounds superintendent, went out and got 3 bids. They didn't follow procurement, regulations and rules and policy. They just went out and got 3 people to bid on these cameras, and then they awarded it to a person that's in Drake. I mean, they awarded it to Mercier Electric, which they didn't go through the process. It's not Mercier Electric's issue.
Yeah.
They're just doing business. It's how the school committee or the school department has handled the situation.
And I just want to step away, the paving of the grounds of the school department.
$92,000.
I drove by there and I said, this is going to be on social media within the day. It was on that afternoon, somebody
Yeah,
put
exactly.
that was going on. And that's, you're going back to procurement. I don't know much about it. I know it's very important. And I know that was one of the reasons why Jimmy Duggan kind of got in trouble. He wasn't following procurement.
Right.
And now they have a procurement officer in town. I don't know if the school department has their own, or they use ours, or whatever.
Well, by the way,
But-
Barbara does a great job.
Absolutely.
Barbara O'Connor.
Yep. Barbara
And
does a great-
the school department has a person that handles it, but they're not a really procurement officer. They're only certified in it, which means, that means they know something about
Okay.
procurement,
Yeah.
but it's not that they're following it. They go to Barbara to get information. Now, they should be going to Barbara, who's an expert in it, right? And she says they don't follow the rules over there.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And that's been a typical issue with the Drake School Department for years, and
Yeah.
especially under Stone.
And going back what Cisco talked about residency,
Yeah, we
and
went
again,
into that.
this is just like Bobby says, an opinion show, but Dennis Pena, granted, he moved from Maryland. He stayed in town for 27 years, is still there.
Yeah.
Jimmy Duggan gave up a beautiful home in Gloucester. He moved to Drake. I think the person that runs the town should live in the town, but that's up to the selectmen. That's just my opinion. But
Okay.
because like I say, I remember Jimmy Duggan telling us, I don't know if you ever saw his home in Gloucester. I think it was Gloucester, down that area. Beautiful home, and he gave it up to move to Drake. Because he felt that he worked for the town, he should be in the town.
Sure.
But that also gives that employee more accountability. If they're living in the city, they're associating with people that they're going to be accountable to.
Right.
If you don't live in the city, you can do whatever you want, and if you get caught, sorry, you move on, and you find another city to do whatever you like doing.
Tell me, you want to read these two?
The Drake School Department thinks everyone else should make cuts except them. Also, a sprinkler system for the grass.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's just a waste of money, and that's the end-of-year spending that they normally do.
Yep.
Another thing, that parking lot, it's questioned whether that went through the procurement process.
I'm gonna-
They think the
if you're a betting
procurement
person,
office,
yeah.
they think the procurement is going out, getting 3 bids. One person going out and getting 3 bids from 3 different contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And look I don't know if this is true or not, but you can't go to 3 friends and say, you turn to bid, your turn to bid, and your turn to bid, and then give it to your favorite person.
Right.
You can't do
Right.
that stuff.
Right.
But I want to answer Cisco's question, Bob, before.
Go ahead.
When I was on the Board of Selectmen, as you know, I was on the Board of Selectmen when Jim Duggan came
You
into
were-
town.
yeah.
I insisted that part of it was, we're paying the guy $150,000, $160,000 to be a manager, or the woman. I insisted that part of it has to be that they have a certain amount of time to move into town.
Yeah.
And live in town. Because I like to see, like Cisco said, very intelligently, you're making 160, 170,000. This manager's making over 200. You're going to spend that money within town. It's an economic thing for me. I also didn't go for the manager having a full-time car 24/7. I didn't like it. I said I'd rather pay the mileage, because then they have to document it, and it's fair to the taxpayers, and it's fair to the employees.
It's
to
a
get that.
perk.
What's that?
Yeah, but
It's a perk.
It's a
Yeah,
perk
it is.
that comes with some danger too. If you get one bad incident, the city could be liable for a lot of damage. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Well,
Cisco,
that's
I've been around a lot longer than you have, okay? In lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. Lovely Lowell, we have had a brand spanking new sander on a stormy night flip itself over because the guy was called into work and he might have had a few pops before he came in to do his overtime. And you know what was in the paper? Nothing. First night out, brand new Sander, totaled.
Wow.
So, a lot, now you're a retired cop. How many police cruisers got in accidents that never got any publicity?
Oh, we've had plenty of those incidents, depending
That never
who was
got
operating
that
the
never got
vehicle,
publicity.
you're right.
Never got publicity.
No, depending who
Cover
their
it
last
up.
name was. We've had 2 brand-new cruisers go through an intersection responding to a high-stress call. Both cruises over 60,000 totaled. No accountability.
Wow. Well, another one of the issues that has been brought up is the Director of Building and Grounds has a 24/7, or had a 24/7 vehicle, but he was part-time for the last 12 years or 10 years. Part-time. And that vehicle has been used to go to his summer home in Maine. I mean, come on. I mean,
Doesn't make sense.
it's ridiculous, the amount of wasteful
We
spending.
had city managers
And I know people, I'm
in
sorry.
Lowell, we've had city managers in Lowell take their cars to Hampton Beach with open beer cans, open beer bottles in the front seat.
Wow. Wow.
And
I'm
show
gonna
up
get
in the
you-
paper,
just-
too.
And
Look the other way.
Dennis Peendak had a car. He used it, but he didn't use it. That car would not leave his house on the weekends unless he had to go on
Right.
official business. Mike Buxton had the total personal use of the car, never used it on weekends. And now the new Ed Patton he doesn't even take it home with him. He's right down the street, he leaves it in the parking lot, and he can take it home with him if he wants.
Smart move.
But I mean, it's during work hours, yes, but not.
Oh, I get it that the fire chief needs it, the police chief needs it. But our police chief lives in New Hampshire, lives an hour away from here. I'd like to know how many times he's came back to Drake it,
Yeah.
for an emergency.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a deputy chief who's very capable, who does the job when he's not here.
Sure,
So,
sure.
Does he bring home a marked vehicle?
yeah, I'm
I
not
don't
sure
think
if
so.
it's
They're
marked,
unmarked.
but it's got lights and
But it should be marked.
it's got a plate on it, the blue
Should be
plate.
marked. Like
Yeah.
I see a guy lives in Lowell, he works for the town of Malden. Town of Malden's all over his car.
Really?
It should be marked.
But you think just
Counter
because
Drake?
the engagement of taxpayers not engaged with politics, not voting, not knowing what's going on, is that a reason why people tend to spend the money and don't,
That's a good point.
there's no more
good point.
oversight? I think if we taxpayers were more involved in politics and looked at what was going on, I think you would have more discretionary spending on how they spend your money.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is.
Scott, you're
It-
right.
it's-
People don't pay attention until it affects them right next door.
Yeah.
When in fact, this is affecting them. This is affecting them. What do you think, I had a question for you, Tommy. Now I can't remember what it is.
All right,
I've got that-
I'm sure you'll get it.
I've
It
got
happens to me.
that Joe Biden syndrome. I can't remember stuff. It'll come to me. But the bottom line is.
How's the
that-
ice cream?
What's that?
How's the ice cream?
Yeah, exactly. The bottom line is that these are wrongdoings that shouldn't be happening, and they're being brought to light, and what they do is they turn the whole issue around and put it on the person who's bringing it out, and that's a shame. Rebecca Duda didn't deserve what she got. In fact, she didn't even break the rules, according to what rule they're citing that she broke. They're trying to say that she broke the school committee's policy of how to report a complaint. Well, it wasn't, there was no complaint to her. The complaint was to a fraud line, and she posted the fraud complaint, which was from an anonymous source, and as an elected official, she put out on Facebook that, listen, if that person who made that, a school department employee made that fraud thing, right? That
Yep.
fraud report.
Yep.
She said to that person that, I will help you and protect you if you want to speak to me. I'd be happy to, just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll keep you secret. It's a whistleblower.
Yeah.
And they went after her for that. I mean, Come on.
And have you heard the rumor that she's doing all this because she wants to be the superintendent? Have you heard that one?
Oh, come on.
I
Yeah,
heard that,
I know.
yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah, of course.
And you know,
Of course, that's another deflection.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
going after the manager.
Yeah.
The manager
Oh.
reached out to the superintendent of schools in a whole bunch of emails looking for information that he didn't get back.
This girl
And
does her- she does
So
her
what did she
homework.
have to do?
Yeah.
She had to go out and cover her rear end,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, she filed a fraud report.
Yeah.
And what's the superintendent of school doing? Threatening to sue her.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Can you imagine the superintendent of schools is suing the manager and the chairman of the board of selectmen, or has threatened to sue the manager and the chairman of the board of
Why is
selectmen?
the town paying for their lawyer?
What's that?
Why is the town paying for their lawyer?
That's a good question. That's in his contract. So now, the person suing, the taxpayer is going to pay for that lawyer. And
I
then,
thought he had his own personal.
no,
attorney.
he does have his own personal, but in his contract,
Oh, okay.
he gets, the town pays for his lawyers.
Okay, yeah.
You know? And, I mean, that's crazy, in my view, crazy. Now you got the
Well, who signed
superintendent.
his contract?
What's that?
Who signed his contract?
Who do you think? The school committee.
Yeah.
Well,
School
they
committee
were
signed
crazy
his
at the time.
You know, in Lowell, we had, when I was on the school committee, we had about approximately 50 people that are retired, living in Florida and all over the place, getting paid. Jim Hall went after all of them, got all those checks stopped. There was one person that fought that's still probably getting paid. But as good as that guy does for a job, last year, all they did was try to get rid of him. It's, here you go, you got 3 messages.
I'm laughing. People in government being fiscally responsible. I'd like to know how many people in Lowell have official city vehicles. That's a huge savings in car insurance, no car payment, and I bet they even get free gas. They do. Good morning, everyone. Great show. Great to see you, Bob. One tough cookie.
You know,
And it is a
The
great
last one,
truck.
that's
I
from
mean,
Eileen Del Rossi, the last one.
Yeah.
And that second one, you think I would have refused the car when I was the health
Of
director?
course not.
No, what did you say?
No,
You said
of
health
course
insurance?
not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, but I would never, if they said to me, you don't use it on personal time, I'm not using it on personal time.
It's a $10,000 or $20,000.
Oh, no, there's a way around that, Bob. There's a way around it. I had a knockdown, drag-out fight with my accountant, because he'd say, you can't use your company car to get on the beach. Wait a second. I'm on call. He said, oh, that's a whole different animal. You're on call? Yes. So they can call you, make you go back to work? Yes.
Yeah.
And the workaround for that on my end is, I look on caller ID and say, I'm not answering this. That's the workaround. I get a free company car and I don't have to respond.
But that's, that's also business. That's in a business, right? And
It's not the tax.
Same thing goes
It's
for
not the-
towns. Same
What's
thing
that?
goes for towns.
Yeah.
I've been over to cops' houses where the cop will say to his wife, don't answer the phone.
Yeah,
Don't touch that phone.
yeah,
Because caller ID says headquarters is calling you into work.
yeah. Oh, I agree. I totally agree with
It's a
that.
perk.
That's why I think that it should be mileage based, and give them a stipend for mileage. When I was on the board, I wouldn't vote for that. And Duggan's first contract didn't have a car. Duggan's first contract required him to come into town.
It should come off their salary, John. So if we're going to give you a company car, you lose 10 grand. So make up your mind. Do you want the 10 grand or do you want the
Well,
free
isn't
car?
it true, John, that you got to claim that car on your income
No,
tax?
because I'm on call.
Huh?
I'm on call.
Oh, I don't know. I think
It-
in the state you have to do it.
The IRS wants you to claim that is on income.
That's
Most
right.
people don't do it.
Nope.
And I don't see them going after most people, but it's in
Do you
in their
think
rules.
the FBI is claiming those cars they're taking home? ICE is claiming those cars they're taking home? ICE takes cars home.
I understand.
should
It's,
be.
it's the government, so they're not
And
going to
they are
invest
the government.
themselves, right? But they do investigate these top CEOs that have vehicles.
Only if a politician doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a public employee that had a car that actually insisted on including that perk in their retirement pay? So that's part of what they being taxed.
The sheriff's department used to do that.
Yeah.
And Kate Hodges, who is the present town manager, she doesn't have a town vehicle. I don't know if she's doing mileage or if they gave her a stipend. I don't know.
She does have a car.
Yeah.
But she only takes it from her house to I've had a discussion with her.
Oh, it's not her
No, she has a car. She does not use it for anything else but driving to and from and in the town. She doesn't.
I did
for
not know
instance, she
that.
has-
I was told at first she didn't want it, so that must have changed.
Okay. I guess it did.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, she's doing it the right way. Even though I don't agree with it, I wouldn't give the manager, again, I'd go with the mileage. But she does have a car, she drives it to her house,
Okay.
parks it. If her son is playing somewhere in a soccer game,
Must
or
be another car.
she goes home. If she has to go shopping, she goes home, parks the car, and then goes shopping. I mean, it's a time-wasting thing, right? But
Yeah.
she feels as though it's her obligation to do that.
She's impressed me so
I
far.
mean, in the long run, I think the mileage is the only way to go. If you really want to cost an effect on resolution for that, mileage. The thing that I hear is that, we have to pay an employee to do all this on extra accounting. You know something, we have enough employees in the city, they should be able to do that easily. And I think in the long run, if you look at the numbers, it would be a lot cheaper to pay the rate that the IRS sets annually.
You're right.
And there was one of those questions I read there regarding, John, I don't know if you heard him, about how many vehicles are taken home in the city of Lowell. I think you've asked that question numerous times.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
You
and
could
you can't
FOIA
get an
that.
answer.
You
Oh, yeah,
can FOIA
yeah.
that and get the answer. Tom, remember now what I was going to ask you. What do you think of, you're born and bred in Drake, right?
Oh, Lowell.
Oh, so you're a transplant?
Yeah, but
Okay.
now
Like
I
me.
officially live in Drake.
So I'm a blowing, you're a blowing, you're a blowing. No matter how many years you're there, you're a blowing. So, I don't get this thought process of any Drake resident that thinks, hey, I grew up here, I lived here, I was born here, I lived here my whole life, and to have somebody come in from outside and tell us what to do, it just doesn't sit right. Your chairman of your school committee said that about the manager. Wow. She said that. That is what's wrong with Drake. There's too many people that have the mentality that you don't live here, you weren't born here, you shouldn't have anything to say about what goes on in the town.
I can't believe
I mean, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's why you have procurement issues. That's why you have issues with cars. That's why you have issues with people getting perks they shouldn't be getting. And that's why friends get hired. You know, somebody said to me recently that, and we're looking into this, you should look into the hiring practices at the school department. You want to see how many families of politicians and how many politicians are working at the school department.
You gotta say
And their
Lowell.
families.
Yeah.
You have to say Lowell's, John.
What's that?
Lowell's school system.
Yeah. It's
Everybody's related.
So you look at their employment, how many people are employed, and of the 550 people that are employed, it's like Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
I'll never forget when, Shannon Rowe,
Yeah.
when she was hired for the town. I think she's with the town 20-something years now. And I didn't know her. And somebody, I said, who's the new girl in the assessor's office? And the whisper, it's Shannon Rowe, Ray Rowe's niece. Ray Rowe was dead like 15 years or something. And it's like as if he got her in there, just because she applied, she got the job, and she's done a great job in every department she's worked in.
And let
My
me
former
say
work
this-
wife.
Let me say this to you. I don't disagree with hiring local people. It makes sense to hire local people. We just got through saying you should live in Drake, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that they hire people because they are related to somebody, not because they're qualified for the job. And I'm not saying that's all the time.
Yep.
There's many people who are qualified for the job that do a good job in Drake and live in, that are born and bred in Drake. So I don't put that out there as something that should never happen.
No,
If everything is equal, the qualifications are equal, certainly hire the resident.
And that's what's horrible, because if
agree-
you're
I
related
agree
to a
with that.
politician and you're qualified, and I'll give you the example. Is it Karen Golden, the chief assessor in Drake?
Yes.
She was the chief assessor of Lowell. And right away, everybody, Tommy Golden's sister got the job. But she was qualified for the job. It wasn't like, she'd
Right.
overstep somebody that was in the office. There was the acting, you know what I mean? And,
Listen, I want
else
a brain
applied?
surgeon that went to the best
Who else
schools
applied, Tommy?
if I'm going to have brain surgery.
What's that, John?
You just say that the city manager hired his sister?
No. In Lowell, the city manager's sister got a job in Drake.
Drake it.
Yeah. 10 years ago. But
Well,
she
that's
qualified.
but you see, that's how the whole system works. I had elected officials stand right here at the end of the show. He said, John, I'll tell you how the hiring practices works. Hypothetically, you're the superintendent of schools in Lowell, or you're the city manager in Lowell. And I'm the city manager in Lawrence, or I'm the superintendent of schools in Lawrence. Somebody needs a job. I call up my friend John. Hey, John, I got a sister needs a job. Can you help her out? Sure. What's her name? Send her down, I'll take care of her. Oh, while I got you, I have a sister that needs a job too. Send her to Mayo. That's how it works.
Of course.
They just drop a dime, they get their relatives hired, they get their friends hired, and how'd you get your job? Now, once they retire, they'll tell you the real story. Oh, I got this job because I knew Bud Caulfield.
Well, the school,
But do you agree, John,
Now, I'm not gonna pick on my friend Bud, because Bud would never do a thing like that.
John, but do you
But other
agree?
politicians will.
Do you agree, but if the person's qualified, it's okay? Qualified for the position?
if there's no other Drake it
Right,
resident.
if nobody's qualified, do you
Yeah.
agree that that's okay?
No.
He
They
doesn't-
should compete with everybody else.
No, but Tom,
Because my sister wants the job, she's qualified. That's an opinion. Show me on paper where she's qualified.
But John, Tom's saying the right thing. If they're qualified, and you also have to understand that people tend to come from families of accounting,
Right.
on families of funeral directors, family of city employees. It just goes with large families, and especially some of the older families where we had 11 kids.
How was it, Francisco, you're a retired Lowell cop. Why don't all the cops live in Lowell?
I mean, at some point, they have to live in Lowell, but then they tend to move out because of money. They got more money than the average person in Lowell, so they can afford to live on the outskirts. So we're not keeping them here. If we said, look, you gotta stay here for a longer term, then we would keep some of that
We
money.
should do what Boston does, but the city council is unwilling to do that.
No, I agree. No, they're unwilling, and they're saying it's illegal. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal,
No,
Boston.
It isn't illegal.
How can anybody blame someone for moving out of Lowell? It's beyond me.
Move to New Hampshire.
I'm just saying.
That's where you
it's-
should move.
If you move out of Lowell, God bless you. I live in Lowell, I'm gonna stay here because the future is a little bit bleak, and I don't pay that much to live in my home, so I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but if everyone leaves, all the good jobs leave Lowell, we're never gonna have a better city. I mean, you're gentrifying the city now and asking people that don't live in the city to come in, and the only reason they're coming in is because the rent's cheaper in Lowell than it is in Boston.
Yeah.
So we need to really keep some of the people that work in the city. It's gonna make the city better, and they have something invested, they live here. So they're
Tommy,
gonna
you
do a
wanna
better
read these?
job.
Tom,
Drake, it needs to be more liberal if they want a better standing in the state. You are too conservative for the ultra-liberal Mass Swamp. Lowell wants to be a Cambridge so bad, almost like a jealous little girl. When cities and towns need funding, the only place to get it is from our pockets. How much is it going to cost the residents of Lowell for the high school overage, yeah, so.
Drake it, wait a minute, Drake it needs to be more liberal? No way.
That's right.
No
exactly,
way.
Exactly.
No way.
But the problem, and it goes back to like people not involved, people don't watch. If people watch the way Allison Volpe and Renee Young talk to people in a condescending way, I mean, well, I think Renee Young's toast anyways, who's somebody who'll run against her.
Yeah.
And,
I am extremely disappointed.
John Zimini's
in-
moving back to Drake to run again, so I'm not going to start that.
No, that's not going to happen. Or I'll be living on your living room.
Divorced.
Yeah. The bottom line here is, I'm disappointed in a guy like Rob Shepherd, who ran on a platform that he was going to be the one guy to question everything.
Yeah.
And now he's become the one
Yeah.
guy that defends everything.
I don't know what happened.
And Linda.
Because he was like that on the planning board, right? He was on the planning board. He seemed to be like that on the planning board. as
But
far as-
asking all kinds of questions.
independent, yeah.
But now he drank the Kool-Aid and he's just it's outrageous how bad he is, right? He's looking for excuses. I know he wants the school to be built, but Rob, you can't get a building built if it's just not right. It's just not right for there. I've never opposed a proposal to have a new building or a new school. I voted for the library. I voted for the police station. I voted for the new fire station. I voted for the new school, the high school. I never supported an override for operating expenses. That's just me. I don't want taxes to go up, and I don't want to give them more money that they're going to spend. I voted for CPA because it's money that can only go for specific things, right? And it can't go into the pockets of anybody. Right?
Am I correct that the only way this school will be built is with an override? Because it's not
Oh,
going to happen.
absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
Absolutely. It has to be a debt exclusion.
Won't happen.
It's not going to happen, but I understand they're going to move that off the dime. They wanted to have that to go before the town meeting in November, but they have now realized, I think, that they're not going to get it through this November, and they're certainly not going to get it through an override anytime soon. So I think they're now shifting, and they're going to come out with this excuse on Wednesday that they may be able to get a better percentage of return from the state if they wait until February, because there's new regulations that are going to increase, or give you the possibility of increasing that bottom line, which I think is suspect too. But the real reason they're putting it off is because it can't pass. It will never pass right now.
Never.
I mean, before it was a question, but it will never pass right now. So that's going to happen on Wednesday, that they're going to put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
But I'm also disappointed in Linda Truville, because, for her, Linda's a friend. I've supported her, in the past, and not saying that I won't support her in the future, but the bottom line is, she came out and chastised the members of the community for being negative. Well,
Who caused the negativity?
Who caused the negativity? Own it and move it forward. Why aren't you managing the superintendent and saying, why are these issues happening? I mean, in the way of procurement, they don't have a procurement policy, or they didn't have a procurement policy. They didn't have a policy on the use of cars. They screwed up the Parker Ave to a fare-thee well, right? And she's over there chastising the people, and she's talking about we all need to come together, and we all need to do what's right for the town, and to bring the school department forward and be positive about the school department. And then she votes to censure Rebecca Duda.
Yeah.
That just makes a bigger divide.
Yeah.
I don't get that, But those are my disappointments. I mean, Rebecca Duda is shining like a star, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they're going to go after her again.
She'll come back. She'll be. I mean, she's not going anywhere, but she'll come back. And when the election comes April or May, rather, there'll be a new school committee person. I don't know who will run, but I'm sure there's going to be people out there thinking about it.
Well, the school committee, by doing what they did to her, some of the members of the school committee sealed their fate. That's another thing with Rob Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Rob Shepherd voted. He abstained from the vote to remove Rebecca from subcommittees, right?
Yeah.
And in his whole dissertation and all his talking about it was that he doesn't think that she did anything nefarious or whatever. But then he abstains from the vote. It's like, have some courage, Rob. Stand up and defend. It could be you next.
Talk about abstaining or voting present. What about the vote on the Pledge of Allegiance? Or was it some Volpe? I couldn't believe it.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. Oh.
Outrageous. And
Tell me more
Tom,
about
they're
the
not
Pledge of-
singing. They're not.
Tell
they're
us
not-
about the Pledge of Allegiance. What's going on?
What?
I think it wasn't the Pledge of Allegiance. It was the Star
It
Spangled
was not
Banner.
the Pledge of Allegiance. It was the Star Spangled. It's the national.
The school committee has set a policy for the town that all schools, at some point, I don't know if at the beginning of the school day, play the Pledge of Allegiance.
And the national anthem.
National anthem, rather. I'm sorry. Keep saying Pledge of
They
Allegiance.
used
day
to
they gotta
play
play the
it.
national-
They used to play it. They stopped playing it, and it was brought to Rebecca Duda's attention. She brought it forward, and obviously it passed 4-1 with one abstaining.
Yeah. So Allison Volpe, who is one of the school committee members, voted present. So
That's the person who doesn't think she's liberal. She doesn't claim she's liberal.
That's
Yeah.
a liberal move, in my
So-
opinion.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
She
all day
voted
long.
Present?
Yep.
What's that?
Wow, sir.
Vote no. That's what
Yeah,
she-
vote no.
Yeah.
I mean, The other thing is, how are you going to educate these kids early to respect the national anthem when it starts? And you're also respecting your military, because you're taught the moment that starts, you stop, you face the flag, you put your hand over your heart, and you take the time to think of the folks that fought for that right and that flag to be hanging up front and in front of you.
But yet, they will go out of their way to hang a pride flag.
Yeah. Oh.
They'll go out of their way to make sure that that's in classrooms and stuff, and that,
Yeah.
I mean, look I don't care. I'm not I'm not that conservative that I don't believe in gay rights. I totally believe in gay rights.
Mm-hmm.
There is a line that gets crossed when you start talking about transgenderism. I think that's an illness.
Yep.
Right? And the bottom line is, I mean, cross-dressing, right? If you ever heard of somebody that was a cross-dresser, right, you right away say that's a mental illness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So transgenderism is, to me, is a mental illness.
Yeah.
But I'll get castigated for that. What say you, Bob Hoey?
Well,
Bob's awful quiet over there.
Well, I'm quiet.
Touch that. It's an opinion
Yeah.
show, folks.
I love that line.
Excuse me.
I love that line.
I'm quiet because Lowell has different issues than Drake. To me, the best thing that's ever happened in Drake is getting rid of DeRocco and getting a guy like Josh Taylor.
Yes.
Now, I've been very lucky. I don't know, I've been picking the right people. Eric Gitch is the best thing that happened to Lowell, and Josh Taylor, to me, is the best thing that
Josh
happened
Taylor's
to
the
Drake.
Eric Kitcher of Drake It.
He's doing a great job. But I want to say this about schools. Our biggest problem is micromanaging the superintendent and firing them. We've been firing quite a bit over the past 25 years. I can just go to two. Dr. Helen Flanagan, everybody loved her. We're going to cut her neck off and get rid of her.
And this guy will be next, Bobby,
But you
unfortunately.
know, John, you know a lot more about budgets than I do. But let's say, like Lowell, roughly $250 million to $270 million budget. Do you think you can go in and find some problems with it? Of course you can.
Of course you can.
You'll find some small problems, maybe some big problems. But Dr. Kafawi gets shipped out of this town for having bad budgets. He got shipped out of this town because he talked about maintenance of effort. Once he opened his mouth about that, and that is how much money the city takes off the schools to operate them. We pay rent. It's like we're rental, and we have scumlords that are running it, and they rip us off. And once he opened his mouth, see you later, Dr. Kafawi. He was a great superintendent. See you later. But Lowell's getting better because one of them has moved away. The two problems that I think we have. One has moved away. Thank God we're going to get Danielle McFadden to replace her. Now you got three left to run for that other seat. And we got one that's still there that's been there 30 years. You know, you could say you don't want term limits, okay? To me, most people would like term limits.
I like term limits.
Yeah, most
I do
people would
too.
like them. But in Lowell, they'll say to you, oh, we don't want, you know what term limits is, Bob? Let the people vote us out. Well, when you only got 7,000 voters out of 75,000 registered voters, it's going to stay the same because they're looking for a free meal. And they're getting those people that they're just going to keep getting the vote. We don't have enough people to come out and vote to change it.
They're not really there for them, for the people. They're not there for the kids. They're there for themselves and what they can get their friends and family.
And everybody
That's
that's
the bottom
against,
line.
anybody that's against term limits will always say that. Oh, there's term limits every election. You can
That-
put me
yeah,
out. and
That's a lame,
BS.
lame
Yeah.
excuse.
It's a
Lame
poor
excuse.
excuse, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with new ideas, fresh ideas.
Exactly.
I served 9 years on the Board of Selectmen in Drake, and I decided on my own, top the ticket every time, and I said to myself, I'm not running for reelection. It's time for somebody new.
Yeah.
And I can do a lot more outside the board than I can do inside the board. I can be more involved and I can be more of an effect. Maybe not to their liking, to most people in the political surface liking, because I'm going to tell the truth, right?
I mean, and I always say that everybody has a shelf life, and Jimmy Olafen's a good example. Jimmy probably shouldn't have ran that last time,
Yeah.
because you want to go with your head high, not losing an election. And I think that's the same with Shaw and Dougie Willett did. They did not run for re-election, and they could go with the heads held high. They served so many years as a selectman, but some of them just keep going and going and going. You know,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
so
It's a shame.
yeah.
John, I'd like you to come back and educate everybody with the procurement and all that,
Okay.
with some screenshots. Maybe we could
You
put
know-
like presentation
I want to
for the
add to
people out
that.
there.
I put a motion in once on the school committee to open all bids over $50,000 on live TV,
Yeah.
instead of opening those bids in a room with the door closed. Well, Bill Topia at the time, a blow-in that I loved, and I thought he did a
Holyoke.
great job. Yeah. He said, Bob, if we do it for 50,000, we'll be on the TV all night long. Why don't we do it for anything over 500,000?
Oh, my God.
So that passed, and I never seen one bid ever opened on TV. Never, never.
Yep.
Tommy?
When you watch the school department meetings, it's like an episode of the Kardashians. Milton Berle, the best cross-dresser ever.
He was a comedian. He was doing it for a joke. You're right.
What,
Yeah,
what happened
right.
to the wrong signatures on the school department checks?
Oh,
Term
that's
limits.
another
Is
issue.
Marty coming in? Is Marty Meehan coming in at 7? Well, no, I didn't even know Trahan made some pledge about term limits, and now she's reneged too.
Oh,
I didn't
forget
even,
it, yeah. That's
yeah.
a big joke.
Yep.
As far as the signatures on check, that's another issue. The town treasurer retired, and the town manager told the school department that they have to change the signature on their town checks for employees, and for any expense, for that matter, right? And they told them that, they don't have a new person yet, they're gonna have a temporary person.
They have an acting town treasurer.
They have an acting town
Okay,
treasurer
all
right now. But what they did was, they ignored the manager, and they just went ahead and continued to use the signature that was on record. Now, here's the issue. The issue is that the school is blaming the town because the town manager and the people in town didn't tell the vendor who cuts the checks. Well, the vendor, I believe it's called Harper, they do the administration of the databases, the web stuff, for each one of the departments, the school
Sure.
department and the town. But they're separate. There's no, the vendor have a separate contract with the schools and this town. The town doesn't have access to the schools, and the schools doesn't have access to the towns.
Sure.
So they had to make the change, but they're insisting that the town manager has the right to go in but she didn't. She insists she doesn't, and that nobody in the town hall has that right to do it. So that's why you had 9 teachers who got paper checks, which is another issue. I don't know why they do paper checks. I guess it's because they're new employees or something.
Right.
But the bottom line is, they didn't get paid. But it goes beyond that. There were issues with some checks going to vendors that had the wrong signature on it, from what I understand. So that's interesting also.
Yeah.
So that's where that came in, and they said, now the manager tried to reach out to the superintendent to get him to act upon it so that they could cut new checks with the right signature on it and hand deliver those 9 to the people who were in the school department, but the superintendent was nowhere to be found. He was on some kind of a Alice drill, it's called. It's the drill for active shooter. They train
Oh,
for that.
okay, I've heard about that,
So
yeah.
they were training for that, but I don't know what the superintendent of schools has to do with that other than observing. He's not running it, it's the
The police
the
department.
police
Sounds like,
department
it
runs it.
sounds like it's pretty simple, but the whole check process, if you follow the,
So,
the
the central office said that they can't reach the superintendent because he's at an Alice drill. Well, this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
Call him, pick up the phone, don't tell me you can't call him. Call him and tell him he's gotta get back and do what has to be done to have the town do it, give him the checks. But no, he's at an Alice drill, it wasn't important, only 9 teachers that didn't get paid, you know?
That's
But that's
9,
another
that's
issue.
9 too many.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And it's. the
people rely on their
arrogance.
checks every week, or every 2, I don't know if the town goes every 2 weeks, every week, but
So
they
the
rely on
manager
those.
had to cover her rear end, and, and Josh Taylor was involved in that too, to the point where he wanted.
But John, I mean,
He
I have
told her he would
Stephen
give them the money.
Stone's,
What?
I have Stephen Stone's cell phone number.
You do?
Why didn't the people asking the question just call Stephen Stone
I
directly?
don't think the manager had it, so who knows? But the manager called the superintendent's office.
Because Stephen Stone, my reputation with Stephen Stone, he's a good guy. Answer any kind of question. That's the
Well,
Stephen Stone I
He'll
know.
answer it, but he won't be, don't be guaranteed to get a good answer. I'll get the right answer, because he just does it all the time. He says whatever comes out of his mouth and then worries about it later.
This
Too
is the
many
first time-
people have
This
said
is the
that.
first time he's really had it in the years he's been there, had any issues.
Do you know how he got
Because of
the job,
Kate
John?
Hodges.
No, how'd he get his job?
Refresh my memory, because I remember, when you tell me, I'm gonna remember.
Marty Mann's sister, he's married to Marty's sister?
Well, the way the story goes, and nobody can tell me otherwise, when the superintendent's job opened, they did a search, but the search was by two or three people on the school committee, and another member of the administration went to Stone and asked him to come to Drake it, without authorization of the school committee, from what I gather. And then they hired him, or they were about to hire him, and then they found out that they didn't do any procedures, they didn't post the job, or they didn't, they just voted for him, they didn't even do an interview, and then they had to redo it.
Doesn't that sound like how they hired Tom Golden and Lowell?
Well, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with what Wayne Lowell does.
I don't
So
agree
John,
with it
just
either.
backing up a little bit, John, there's no law says they have to do that, is there?
Well, yeah, you have to go through a process.
You have to go through, and they think they did that.
Well, they didn't. They
And
didn't
the school
post it, they
committee,
didn't
the school
interview.
committee said it's okay, the selectmen said it's okay. Now, Stephen Stone's been out there for 10 years or more,
Yep,
and
Oh, yeah,
10
more.
years.
I think
More
he's
than
been
that.
doing a pretty good
Approximately.
job myself.
You think he's doing a good job, John?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, my God.
You guys, first of all, you skinflins out there don't pay any money. The first thing, John, the first time I met you here on the show, this is a true story.
I'm cheap, no
John
question.
says how cheap Drake it is. We're cheap. I
I
says,
like cheap.
Yeah, right.
John, just use the word frugal. He says, I ain't wasting any more letters. We're cheap. Frugal has too many letters. And that always stuck in my head. Proud of being cheap.
Well, he has Stephen
John,
Stone's.
I don't know
I
how
wanna-
anybody can look at all the issues that are going on in Drake, procurement, hiring practices, bounce checks.
Social media helps, doesn't it?
Can you tell me how you can say that guy's doing a good job? Boy, you're not paying attention.
Well, I think John, who has Stephen Stone's phone number, should call him up and invite him on the show next
Yeah,
Tuesday.
you see what
With
happens.
Renee Young and see if they come on.
Yeah.
But they won't.
So, John, is Drake it the same as Lowell? There's nothing on the books on how the job should be done. We pay for people for years to do a job for 20 years, and they don't have a black book. Like, if you go
Cisco,
into
you're
a
retired,
business,
Bob. What was your job description?
there wasn't a job description.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm coming down to.
Exactly.
That they leave everything in the dark purposely. These are the things tactically being used in these towns, Lowell included, so that they can do whatever they want. And it's been going on for years and years, and it's time for a change. It's time to have some transparency. It's time to have stuff on paper. You should be emailing all your work-related things, so there's a proof
Cisco,
that things are being done.
most of the complaints come from employees themselves, employees of whether it's Lowell. Most of the complaints that get to my ear are from employees of Lowell. And when I press them for more issues, well, keep me out of it. Don't mention my name. So look at, I love Lowell Housing Authority. People would call and bitch about Gary Wallace to me the whole time he was running the place. No tenants ever called me. I mean, right now, there are tenants at Bishop Markham watching us live on their TV set, right this instant, okay? And nobody calls and complains. And so that would be my test. I'd say, I know you work for the housing department, and that's why you're complaining, because you didn't get your raise or whatever. But nobody living there is complaining. So you can complain about the police department's this, the DPW is that. The taxpayers aren't complaining about it. It takes the customer, the infighting I have with my own employees, that Sally took a pencil home, or she's going home early, why can't I go home early? The client families are not complaining. And that's my takeaway. Are the customers happy? Yeah, then we've done our job.
Well,
No
You-
such thing
you-
as boss school.
You think that the city manager in Lowell's doing a bad job, John. I think he's doing a great job. I don't like the way he got hired, but I think he's doing a great job.
Would you hire him to run your town?
Absolutely.
Well, ask him.
Would you hire Stone? Would you hire Stone?
I don't have a school department to hire him, but I would consider him.
Well,
Joe, when you say,
consider anybody. You don't put out, you don't say you don't consider anybody.
I gotta check his cell phone, see if
Joe,
he-
when you said you didn't like the way
See
he
how
was
fast he
hired.
went the
No,
other way?
I love it. I love the John and John
When you
discussion.
said, when you said you didn't like the way he was hired,
Oh, sorry.
when you said you didn't like the way that Tommy Golden was hired,
Yeah.
what did you mean?
I don't like the fact that it's inherently,
Stephen Stone, I got his phone number, yeah.
I don't like
It
how
ends
it's
with 20.
Excuse me, who's talking?
Yeah.
That's what
let,
you always
let the other John talk.
Yeah, wait, anyway, go ahead, John.
It's passed down to a representative. That's been the history.
Yeah, the
I
last
don't
three
like the
managers have been a
I don't like
senator,
the
manager.
politics of it. I don't like that. All right?
I agree with you.
I'd rather have a professional person like the one we have in Drake,
I agree with
who's
you.
from outside with a fresh set of eyes
agree with
that can
you.
come in and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, and I'm not putting my professional career or reputation on the line
I agree
to
with
allow you to continue to do those kinds of things because you're from Drake or you're from Lowell.
Everything you're saying, I agree with
You
you.
said
But
that,
Rita
and I
Mercia-
agree too.
Yeah.
Rita Mercia, I mean, when they hired him, she said, I loved it. She said, what do we waste? We're not going to waste that time. We know, we have a manager we're going to hire. In other words, they didn't
Right.
go through the search
Right.
process. Why waste people's time having them apply when it's going to be a slam dunk?
And why do you,
That's it.
since you said that, why do you
And-
think Rita Mercia put in a motion to give him that big contract? Why do you think? I'll tell you what I think.
Go ahead, buddy.
It's because when he was a state rep, he got her a nice job at the
you go.
Middlesex County Police. And it's just payback. Here you go, Tommy.
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And then
it's
she-
just not her.
working, yeah.
It's just not.
She's the highest paid secretary.
Listen,
And
there you go.
87 years old, she's still working at this.
Listen, Rita's a great city
and-
councilor, but they all do it. Everybody does that.
Okay, Mr.
Everybody.
Bowman,
Who's
read
my-
these.
Okay. Bruce Jenner is giving Milton Berle a run for his money. A question from Mr. Zimini, will the school department heads go on your program to answer the tough questions? I just brought that question up.
yeah.
The question is, does anyone have the stones to call Stephen? So that's part.
Let me
And
say
going back
this.
to,
Good play on words.
Before I train, I was talking with somebody, but you just said the exact same thing, Jim, about hiring a professional manager.
Yeah.
He's saying, this gentleman saying, well, I'll tell you who it is off here. Little Draco was smart, they hired a professional manager, that's what they need.
Yeah.
In the meantime, his friends, the last three managers, were politicians.
Yeah.
I mean, but let's just say Kate Hodges left tomorrow, and let's just say the selectmen said, we're gonna hire Colin Gary. No, let's just say.
Yeah,
They have the right to do that, but she's a politician, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be in favor of
No,
that.
I know.
Just
but-
because she's a politician.
Excuse
doesn't
me.
No,
mean-
but I'm saying, John.
Excuse me,
you're-
please.
30 seconds.
consistent.
Tom?
You're consistent.
Well,
Yeah.
The show's almost over, Don.
Yeah.
Next time I'll start with you, Cisco, because when I started with Drake, he did the whole hour.
Yes,
buddy.
well, that's
No,
what we're
Drake
here
it
for.
is fine.
No, we're gonna go back to
Well,
that,
Drake
Drake
used to have a day. We don't
We'll
have
be
it
back in
anymore.
30
We'll
seconds.
go back to the
Oh,
Drake it.
Break time?
Yeah.
All right.
negative about him, because right away they'll go to a court case that I had, and he was the lawyer against me, and I lost. That's why you can't. That's okay. I didn't say it. Good morning, welcome to City Life. Thank you for watching on Facebook, if you were, of the Dawn Patrol. But I have to start off the show. I'll introduce everybody. Next to me is Cisco Maldonado, and next to him is the coach, John Zimini, and next to him is the best host of any show on this program.
Thank you.
Tom
Take
Bo-
exception to
Tom
that.
Bomo.
Go ahead.
No, it's very easy to be a host when you're here, John Zimini, okay? Just throw it to you and the whole hour went by. But I
You
have
gotta
to,
talk too much.
I have to start off with this because last week John asked me a question about what has Danny Finn done for Lowell. And when I left, I didn't say enough because everybody wants to say, well, he's related to Mickey Finn. Well, yeah. And you know what? Mickey Finn's children are almost like him. What he's done for Lowell, this Danny Finn, has done incredible things for the Friends of Lowell, football, softball, and a lot of things for different children, all over the place. That's why he's donated his time. He has two older sons now that have played for Lowell High, and look at Lowell High football right now. We lost to Tewksbury in the last minute of the game by a fumble. Tewksbury is one of your better teams around, especially Division II. Lowell's only lost one game, and it's to Tewksbury. This Coach Boyle is doing a great job, and Danny Finn's done a lot more than what I said. But when I left the show last time, I felt like I didn't say enough. But that's what he's done for Lowell. And I live in District 3, and I'm telling you, he'd be a great pick. That's all I got to say.
I
But
got a
when you
question.
say- go
I got a
ahead.
question for
Go ahead.
you. With the passing of Ed Kennedy, by the way, we send our condolences out
Yep.
to the family of Ed Kennedy, and everybody had a couple of minutes to say, or a couple of seconds to say things about Ed. I haven't known Ed that long. I knew of him, and a very cordial man. I liked him as an individual. Our politics were different,
Yep.
but I respected him for what he was
That's
doing.
all that matters.
And that's all that matters.
Yep.
And his heart was in the right place, as I said on a post recently. I don't agree with the party, the way the party has gone, but that's for another day.
Yep.
The bottom line is that Ed was a good guy and served the city well.
Yep, he did.
But there's a lot of speculation, and I know that some people will not want to talk about it, but it's being talked about. Who's going to replace Ed Kennedy?
Talk about that too much.
Okay, you don't want to bring that out at all.
John and I were talking about it before the show.
Come back next on
Yeah.
Tuesday, we'll
Okay.
talk about
I
it.
was just gonna ask.
But it's true, but it's awful, the speculation, it should be like John said.
But that's
Stag-
politics.
That's
Yeah.
the way
That's
it is.
politics, that's the way
Listen,
it
when
is.
you die,
There's no
your
shame
kids are
there.
going to be
Yeah,
thinking
you know what I mean?
about where the money's going to go.
You know, I spent 2 years on a school
They're already saying who gets the Volkswagen for crying out loud.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I have to say this, though. I spent 2 years on a school committee when he was the mayor. And I worked for 4 different mayors, and there's no doubt in my mind he was the best mayor of all 4. But, Danny, the one we have now, help me out.
Danny Rourke,
Danny Rourke. I'm having a brain block. Danny Rourke
Wants
has
to be
done
mayor
more.
again.
Danny Rourke has done more for this school system than anybody else in my lifetime. And I'm hoping that he's the mayor again to carry the torch for what he's done. And what did he do? He hired a superintendent from Lowell that deserved the job. And now they'll be trying to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of him last time. 3 of them, actually 4 of them were going to vote to search the world to find our superintendent.
And it's a shame.
And they couldn't even give Robin Desmond 1 vote. How's that? Now, here's a great person from Drake-it.
Tony, you want to read this one from the
Charlene, it all started when the town manager found an error in a lease that was up for renewal. The superintendent was notified and the fiasco began, and I was going to say that. It's true. It seemed like the Parker Avenue thing never happened.
Thank you, Charlene.
We might not be, but,
And that could have been resolved pretty quickly if the manager got the right answers from the superintendent, but the superintendent dragged his feet as usual. He stonewalled the issue instead of paying attention to what the manager was talking about. Because, and then they tried to blame the manager for wanting to take the building back. And then they tied me to it because when I was on the Board of Selectmen, I voted against the use of that building for that use. I wanted that building and that property on the tax rolls. I wanted it sold so that the town could get the money. Now that it's there, that money should be going to the town, not to the school committee, to the schools for a special fund. Now, I will say this, I do agree that the money collected from that rent could be used, a majority of it, like every tax dollar that comes in, 2/3 of it goes to schools. So I don't mind if that was the case, if we got $1 million a year, that they got 700,000 of it, that's fine. I wouldn't mind that, as long as everything was above board. But it's never above board when you talk about these.
And you have people saying, why is Zimini doing this? You gain nothing from doing it.
No, I love
and first of
drinking.
all, let me say,
I get headaches.
when I'm really, it's really, you might be moving to Pelham, that's your personal life.
Yeah.
But your love for drinking is immense, and it's just really, I know you said there was nothing you could find in drinking to live there. I mean, but you have nothing to gain from this. You're not even, nothing.
Well, I
have
just
nothing
met
but
John, and I like you. And you got here, so that means you're doing the right thing. You know that? If your hair stays on your head, you're doing the right
Well,
thing.
losing it in the back. But at 73 years old, I have critics out there that say, why does an old man want to go searching through all these documents and stuff? Well, I love drinking.
Well, John, my
And I'll
question
continue
is,
it.
Are you coloring your hair?
No. It's gray. It's much grayer than I
So
thought.
you want to read this one?
With respect for Ed and his family, let's hold off on discussion of his replacement. Absolutely, Charlene, absolutely. I'm sure we'll have enough to talk about that in coming shows.
I think she should run for the school committee. I think, I look at her as Miss Northeastern. School she went to, she'd be tremendous as a school committee person. She stays involved. But we're going to have a lot of fun in Lowell coming up, that's for sure. How many days left?
God, less than a month, it's November
30,
4th, right?
24 and 4, 28 days.
Yeah.
28 days.
Wow.
And it
And,
seems quiet, I mean, I don't know.
It is quiet.
Yeah,
It
Bobby,
seems
I mean,
quiet after the
It's quiet.
preliminary.
But social media will
it
pick
got
up
real quiet.
really big in the next couple of
When
weeks.
it's quiet, who's it good for?
the incumbent.
The incumbents.
Yeah.
The incumbents, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you'll ever see someone top a ticket on the schools. Timmy Golden, going way on the Wayback Machine, always topped the ticket. But Danielle McFadden, they only need two of us, okay? And Danielle McFadden is number one. She's going to win this easily.
Yeah.
Who the other?
Then it's Connie Martin, the 30-year incumbent, and then Zoe, which I like, and myself.
Yeah, Bobby, you're
Well,
on the ticket.
to me, you should vote for Zoe or the hoe. Period. That's it.
I will go with the hoe.
Because the hardest job for a superintendent is keeping his door locked
gonna say
because
so.
nothing but nonprofits are trying to knock his door down.
Exactly.
They're trying to run the school system. It's been going on for years, and we got to stop it. Too many conflicts. I'm not going to get into that right now because I'll go back to John and Drake it. But Cisco, what's going on in Lowell, and how do you feel about things?
With the election?
Anything you want to
right
talk
now,
about, buddy?
I was concerned with Marcos Candido, the candidate I ran with, a young kid that lives in his basement, is unemployed, and considers himself part of the working class. And then I found out he hasn't been here for a whole year residency, but they're telling me there's nothing wrong with that. So that's personal, me looking into it, where I'm going to vote for John Dakota up in the section on District 8. I think he's the better candidate to support the folks up there. He actually has a job and has experience, so.
And we were talking about Danny Rook being the next mayor, and I'm hearing that Vesna's already lining up candidates, like, what's his name?
Marcos
and also
Candido.
Sidney Lang.
Yeah, but these guys are being supported by the Democratic Social group out of Boston. And the kid's young, he's very smart.
Yeah, we had him here.
But as
Yeah.
part of these, I think Gen Z that are entitled to everything without having to work at the bottom and work up, which is something tough for me because I've done it, and folks, I'm 56, so for us at that age, it's very tough to see the young kids come in and say, I deserve this. I
There you
should
go.
be the boss.
Cisco, how is it you didn't get on this list?
You know something, when the Democratic caucus called me and said, look, Cisco, you're a great candidate, you should consider just going after the solid gold voters, and the other folks don't matter. I took that to heart. I really thought people that weren't engaged just needed someone to talk to them and try to get them engaged. Well, they have it right. The Democrats have it right. They're
Yeah.
pretty much, if you're not voting and you're not engaged, they don't care about you. They don't want you involved because they got the system down. And if 10%, and they'd rather have it under 10%
Right.
to vote because they got their people in there and they're spending your money, billions of dollars. And very hard to look at those budgets and know where all those millions under billions go to. And there's plenty of people making millions of dollars in this state, living large. All have second homes somewhere, usually at Newburyport, Seabrook, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a lot of money in being a nonprofit? There's a lot of money in that.
Yeah, because you have to spend whatever's left over at the end of your fiscal year, you gotta blow it on your salary.
Mr.
Well, you wanna
Hoey.
read this to-
Mr. Hoey, if you give Belanger's votes in the primary to Finn and Genrin, votes to Geron, Finn wins 722 to 711. That's how close this race is in District 3. The people versus the upper crust. I believe that. I believe, Bart, I think you got it right, buddy. They only looked at that primary election, but I believe Corey's votes, and I feel bad because I was a supporter of Corey. But along came Danny Finn, and that's who I fell for. I like him. Just like I like,
It's true.
just like I like Josh Taylor and Drake it. I can't vote for Josh Taylor, but I want,
Vote for anybody up there.
no.
I mean,
but
I like Danny because he has common sense. He's been in the city a long time. He knows decisions are going to affect certain people directly, and he knows those people. And you got someone that hasn't been in the city that long and has these real progressive ideas. Those ideas are great when you bring cash and gold with you. When you don't have that, you got to make some wise decisions.
Here we go. Go ahead, John.
Okay, people who are running for office right now, they should speak up about stuff. But they don't, they hide in the bushes. Both Duran and Finn hide in the bushes. Well, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? They hide, say
Huh.
nothing. They'll go away. They hide in the bushes. And that's what I see both these Belvedere candidates doing. They
Volpe is
want-
what?
Both these Belvedere
Oh.
candidates, that's what they're doing, hide in the bushes.
Yeah,
Come to the city council meeting, tell us how you really feel.
yeah. They won't come to your show because they don't want to step on their tongue.
Well, why
And
do
we
you,
talked
let's
about
face
this.
it. Why doesn't Tommy Golden come on this show? Very simple. You
He's
know,
the only manager.
Because he constantly gets dumped on. That's why. That's why. Well,
Who dumps on them?
He's a shitty manager.
But
and the same thing.
$1,000 a day, right?
Tommy, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go 10 more seconds.
Go ahead.
And the reason why Danny Finn wouldn't come here, this show has been leaning toward Huron and saying Danny can't read a budget. Well, let me tell you something. There aren't that many people that can read the budget.
Why is that, Bob?
It just, don't ask me. We got Eric Gitcher, thank God. And then you got, the
If the
guy,
Golden Man, if I was a city councilor, if the Golden Man presented the budget like he presented it now, I'd say, I make a motion, we fire the city manager.
yeah.
For presenting us a budget we can't process.
Well, we had
Okay.
Eric Gitcher that wanted to go line item for line item with this budget, and it got snuffed out. They didn't want to do it that way. It takes too much time.
You know, $50 million on the high school.
Yeah.
And what's the Lowell Sun saying about it? Nothing.
we
Yeah,
talked about,
These candidates, do they have any solution? Okay, Mr. Finn.
Go ahead.
Tommy's genius.
we.
No, you can say what you
We
want.
talked,
Did the same thing about Duran. Okay, Dr. Duran.
No, bring in,
Fix this.
she's going to be very powerful for your nonprofits. Remember that.
We talked about this during the summertime, the shows in the summertime, about the city manager's contract and the trip to Switzerland or Geneva, wherever they went. And none of these non-incumbents have made an issue of it, with two solid issues of money that was spent. Nobody, right? Nobody's talked about it, John, right? Has anybody talked about it?
I think the manager's doing a great job, John.
I'm just saying,
He's a good manager.
But you guys talk like a budget's a real hard thing to understand. It's, you got $10, you can only spend $10.
Correct.
That's it. It's not that difficult. The problem is that you have to go through line by line. You have to really dig in and put some time into it. And then you have to go back to these department heads and say, hey, you need $1 million for cat litter? Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Common sense. Can you break this down? You know what I mean? There's, line items that can be broken down to smaller lines and get more in-depth into that spending. So a budget isn't that hard. We all have budgets, something, everybody can do it. It's just putting the time into it.
Right, and it's priorities. Where do you want your priorities to be? If you're gonna, you don't, like you said, you're gonna spend $1 million on cat litter, or do you want to spend $1 million on books? Or laptops for the kids in school,
Yeah.
right?
Going back, I think it's 2 budgets, not this last one, the one before that. Eric Getchia put in a motion to take out his paycheck, that line item, because you don't get paid. He put a motion in to take that out, and he couldn't even get a second. That's how bad this city is. There's so many
Where does
things.
his money go?
It's just staying there in the line item.
Oh, it's going somewhere.
It
It's
goes
being
somewhere,
spent.
yeah. It gets transferred.
But my
down
They're
the
not
line.
getting it back.
My point is, many times he's put a motion in and can't even get a second on it. They
My
want to
point-
snuff it.
my
I think
What
with the-
has saved our city manager, no doubt about it, is the job the mayor's doing.
My
It's my
point to that is, every counselor that does work should get paid, okay? They need to change that. If you work, you get paid, That's how I grew up. If you work, you get paid.
All it would take is one council to make a motion. Tom, go.
Make the motion.
If 2/3 of the tax dollars go to the schools at Dracut, then the
School committee.
School committee and superintendent are paid by the taxpayers, then the taxpayers have a right to question and demand accountability. I like Dan Finn because little high school football is having a good year.
That's okay.
But I think, my opinion is about Eric, and you say about him not getting second. I think the right counselors are elected, he's going to have some more stronger support with him. If McDonough wins, which I think he will win, if Duran wins, which I think she will win, I think he's going to have more. He'll have Corey Robinson. He'll have more of the independent voter. But
The problem with local, he said something about, Cisco said something about the Democrats get it right, and they do. They get it right because they know how to pinpoint their voter. They know how to get that voter out. The Republicans are getting better at it. They're getting better at it, but they're still not there because they are focusing too much on ideology and issues, right? They focus on the issues, but it doesn't matter to the Democratic voter what the issue is. They're just voting from historical value.
Yeah.
I was a Democrat for 45 years until I woke up, right? And when they left me, they left the John Kennedy side of Democratic politics, because today, John Kennedy would be a
Horrified.
Republican.
There's a
He would be
question.
Republican.
There's a question
no, I
He'd
agree
be
with you.
horrified.
He is horrified.
And
There's a
I didn't
question
vote
in
for
Lowell.
Ted Kennedy either, because he's too crazy to the left of when it was
But
happening.
in this state, most people that are running for a seat, they're not going to answer this. Are you a Trumper or not?
Of course,
They're going to be quiet.
of course.
And believe me when I tell you, there's a lot more
That's
Trumpers
how it's
around
Yeah.
than they want to believe.
That's survival.
No, it's the way it is.
Survival. It's just
Yeah.
the way it is. You can't run and be a Republican.
what about the people? What about the
Politics.
sickos? I'm going to call them sickos.
Massachusetts, right?
Sickos that were cheering Charlie Kirk's death.
Oh.
What are
unbelievable.
sickos? I mean, I there are a lot of people in life I don't like. I would never wish death on anybody.
No, that's not-
He's got a wife and kid but they were
But
happy about it.
But Tom, that's not American.
That's right.
Where have we gone? There's American principles that we're just losing in this country. Come on. You know, the ICE thing, that's not American. You know, there's a better way to handle that with the immigrants in this country. Guess what? I know the trauma they're causing to those people. I know the trauma you're causing to young kids that are locked in a vehicle with their parents going to church or going out to get some hamburgers at McDonough's, and they have people breaking windows and grabbing their parents. Think of that kid. That kid's going to be our problem. You know, those children that are in that car that have been traumatized in those situations. And prior to them killing someone, I came on the show and said, if they keep confining people into quarters in vehicles, someone was going to get killed. Well, that already happened. It's going to happen again.
I was watching-
It's like putting a cat in a small quarter. They panic. They'll do whatever they want.
I was watching Laura Ingraham last night, and it's the stuff that was going on in Chicago, people throwing rocks at cars, or all of this thing that the mayor's doing in Chicago. It was scary. I mean, and it's probably coming close to us someday, you know what I mean?
This state, to me, other than Hawaii, is the most liberal state in the country. Look at our governor. This is the biggest problem, I think. She spent over, $100 million plus on illegal aliens. That alone is going to make people vote against her. She's only going to be a one-timer and out the door.
Who's this, Bobby?
Our governor.
Oh, well, I
That's
hope
what
so,
I
but I don't think
believe.
it's going to happen. I hope so. but-
That's what I believe.
Financial responsibility, that money should have been spent on Lower High.
Right.
Let's face it, and other projects in this city that, and even in the state, we have bridges falling apart, roads that are horrible, and we're spending money on, hey, yeah, we want to help people out, but you got to start with the taxpayers. It's our friggin' money.
Right.
Let's see it spent on us.
What do you think of the Democrat running in Virginia, who's running for Attorney General?
That was on last night. Did you see that,
Yeah,
Laura Ingraham?
Who
Okay, yeah.
sent a text to a Republican
Yep.
House member in Virginia, threatening and saying that he should be shot and his kids should be shot. And no Democrat, not one Democrat, has come out and said he should be disqualified from running.
You know, when
because
you
of
sit
that.
on a school seat,
I mean,
Lowell,
this is where they've gone.
I've been
They're
threatened.
sickos.
I've been
Sickos.
threatened.
But you're a coward if you don't stand up and
No,
call
I'm just
something
saying.
wrong. It's simply, hey, look, I don't agree. That's all you have to do. Hey, I'm the counselor, I don't agree with what is going on with people being pulled out of cars when there's other ways to do that, other ways where other people don't get affected and don't get traumatized for the rest of their lives. You know?
I agree with what the Trump administration is doing to try to get people out. We can agree to disagree on that, but we can also agree.
No, I agree that we
that-
need controlled borders all day long.
Right, but I also agree with you that how they're doing it in some instances is wrong, but we don't know all the circumstances behind that, you know what I mean? I mean, if it's a threat being made to somebody, it's a whole different story. But I agree with you, maybe the way that, pulling people out of a car seems very rough, to me. But they're here illegally, why didn't they have an opportunity to turn themselves in, and it's simple. It's like the school committee, the school superintendent in Des Moines, Iowa, who's been here for 20 years. He's an illegal, and he has a gun, and he should be. It doesn't matter how long you're here being illegal. It matters that you're illegal and how you got here. Simple as that. Follow the
John,
rules.
what do you-
Grandfathers and grandmothers all followed the rules.
John, what do you say-
Your ancestry followed the rules. Your ancestors followed the rules.
John, what do you say, and I'm going to ask Cisco the same question.
What's that?
All these videos I'm seeing on Facebook where a cop pulls you over and they don't even roll the window down.
Oh, yeah.
And they tell the cop, I don't have to roll the window down. No law says I have to roll the window down. So Cisco, you're a retired cop. Well, how emotionally, what does that do to many of your former colleagues when that happens? I'm not rolling my window down.
Now they're being trained better to respond to that situation and look at the bigger picture. But some people really take it offensively, and then they push it to the next level, and it sometimes gets out of control.
And I can say this.
Okay, I'm going to
And
go on to
90% of
Mr.
that
Zimini for
comes from
just
the
a
home.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Zimini,
Yes, sir.
how do you feel about it? What do you think it does to the cops'
Well,
spirit?
I think police are in such a bad position. I'm not saying that every police officer is great, but I think it puts police in a terrible position to have
Now
to
over
deal
to our
with people
esteemed host.
who won't, when we were kids, we were taught.
See, he's got a drink at mouth going
We
in.
we were taught, right? We were taught as children to respect authority, whether or not we disagree with them. Today, kids are taught to challenge authority. I say challenge authority, but challenge it in the right way. Don't become violent about it, and don't be disrespectful, because that's when you're going to be in a position where you're going to be pulled out of the car, right? Or something of that nature. Put your hands on the steering wheel, let the police officer see your hands, and then when they ask you for the license, can I go into my glove compartment and get the license?
That's the right way. And it's, again, John, I agree with you, the fact that you have to go and teach our kids how to respect authority. And also, something, there's less lumps and beatings if you go to court, Simple, just back away, record, take your camera out, record
Bobby had a-
your incident,
Bobby,
and go to court.
What's your
Right.
mindset?
Jack.
Well, my mindset is this: before body cameras, they would have smashed the window and pulled the person out of the car.
Yeah, that's
But
no-
now there's cameras on you at all times, and
Yeah.
you have to act differently. I think cameras have destroyed the power for police, to be
This
honest
right
with
here
you.
has
Okay.
destroyed.
Mr.
Society. Oh,
Society.
oh,
Bomo,
Destroyed.
would you read these?
I agree with you.
Good to see you back, Bob. Carla Miller, the manager,
Whoa.
I just lost them all.
okay.
Well,
There we go. Are the manager and the mayor of Lowell related? Yes, they are. In regards to Mr. Hoey's comment about city council candidate Dan Finn, I agree that people vote emotionally and not purely by reason. That's why I feel Dan Finn will win. Thank you, Jeannie Balkers, a former
Jeannie
chicken girl.
Balkers,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
She
hi
and
Jeannie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a,
And then
that's a.
home run,
Facebook
Mrs. Zimini,
post.
also, where's the media on that story? You always see it on Fox. We said, well,
Yeah.
that one, we talked
Yeah.
about. And the manager, in all fairness, they are related. It's no
Yeah.
secret that, but I remember when Danny voted for him, he got a ruling from the Ethics Commission if he could vote for him, and they said he couldn't. you know?
Yeah. I mean, when you live in a town or a city and you're in politics, you're inevitably going to know somebody that's going to get hired, and you're going to know somebody that's going to run for election, and that's just the way it is in towns, in cities and towns. But I would go for qualifications first. And then once you make, as a politician, if I made a commitment to somebody to support them, I stayed with that. I didn't go and say, well, now I'm going to change my mind and go for Tom. I was for Cisco, and now I'm going to be for Tom, because Tom's a better friend. In fact, I had that happen to me. I had that happen to me several times, where I committed to somebody, and then Allison Hughes came to me, who was a good friend. My kids,
Yeah.
we babysat their kids for many years. She ran against Tammy Dristolaris,
Yep.
and I had already committed to Tammy Dristolaris. I'm sticking
both-
with Tammy Dristolaris. I
But they
can't
both
support
won,
you.
remember? They both won.
They both won, and the person that got bumped out was the person they were trying to keep, was
Yeah,
Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox.
So-
And you're right. Phil Shea always said to me, in politics, it's your word. You've got to keep your word. And if somebody comes to you and asks you something, and you make that commitment, you can't go reneging on it. And it's an awful thing, but that's what happens. I'm lucky to say that I have 3 boys. 3 of them are Trumpers. We call them, Bobby,
Yeah.
all Trump, 3 of them. Always had respect for the law. I think one time, it was a minor thing my son got, and he was in the wrong place at the right time,
Yeah.
and he was arrested because he was in the wrong, a fight broke up, but he was perfect record. So I've been lucky, but I mean, these kids are not driving down Merrimack. I hear the scanner all day long.
No,
And when school gets out, they're riding their bikes and
And it's taught behavior. The
Mobs.
disrespect to law enforcement is gone out the window, out the window. And we need more of that, and needs to be taught. Again, it's something that we need in society, is a law. You need some laws to be followed. You just
Did
can't
they-
do whatever you want. Look at the guys on the motorcycles.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not only going to kill themselves, because it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
I'm an accident reconstructionist. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Motorcycles death traps, okay? It's gonna happen. But the fact that they're gonna harm someone else that's innocent, some family that's probably walking with their kids on the sidewalk,
affected, yeah.
gets taken out because this guy decided to pop a wheelie, hits one of the potholes, and goes off and hits the pedestrians on the sidewalk.
Did that ever happen to you, Cisco, where you pull somebody over and they wouldn't roll the window down? That
Oh,
ever
yes, yes.
So,
I've
so
dealt-
would you
I've-
just walk, you have to walk away? Can
Well,
you
no,
talk to
no, you just kind of just back away, look at the situation. I had on those group that's out of, I don't know, Western Mass or something,
Yeah.
that don't believe in laws, federal laws or anything, and don't believe that their cars need to be registered or
Oh, yeah,
have
I
a
seen-
license
seen 'em on
to
YouTube,
drive, right? You see them with their funny hats. You know what I did? I just calmly spoke to them. Meanwhile, I made sure we had more help there. We had 2 cruisers, one in the front, one in the back, so they couldn't move, okay? And, took a little time, and after a while, they kind of knew, like, oh, I got nothing here.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere.
This guy is not heated, everything I said, he has a good response to it, and he's not getting mad on, all right, I guess, you're right, I'm gonna have to get out, and he ended up going to jail.
Bobby, there's no secret that I'm a Trumper. Is there? There's no secret that I'm a Trumper.
I do that, the red tie.
But I don't support Trump for the way he acts. I support Trump for his policies. The other day, and there's things that I cringe at when he says. The other day when he was, I forget where he was, he might have been, he was with the generals, and he said something about the Justice Department and using the military to quell all these riots in cities and towns across the country that are out of control. And I agree with that. I think he should be using it. And of course, the other side will think it's a wrong use of military, but I think it's a right use of military. What made me cringe
When he said,
use it as a training ground, that made me,
No,
Donald, why did you say that?
I had the same feeling, exactly,
Yeah.
John, same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awful, that was
Yeah.
off the cuff, just bad talking.
But
I
that's
mean,
And he's done it.
that's
He's
it.
done it.
New York, he's
Yes.
a New York guy, and he's going to say things that are off the wall. I mean, I know I've said things that are off the wall, and I know that I get a little bit emotional
Well,
sometimes.
John, what's going to happen after Trump's term, and the next president is only asked, what's your favorite ice cream, Mr. President? Tommy, you want to read these?
If it's a line item budget, it should pass line by line. The time to review is
Relevant.
relevant, right. Charlene lives in Dracut?
Yes.
Gotta get her to run, gotta get her to run for office. What are the manager's qualifications? What have supervisors and staff sleeping in the same bed? This is okay. We have supervisors and staff sleeping in the same bed. This is okay. If they get married, one of them has to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that, but go ahead. What's that, the
Oh, the
parents?
parenting has changed nowadays. We always feared our parents. If we got in trouble with the law, you did.
Oh, my
Jeepers.
God, if I came home with somebody,
The belt came out,
oh,
right?
the belt, I would get killed, and today my parents would be in jail. For
Oh, yeah,
abuse of
no,
the child.
all day long, the
Yeah.
same here.
Yeah.
But you didn't step out of line.
No.
And you went to church every Sunday, remember that?
And you
I
don't
have,
respect
and
the
I always talk
authority.
about how I have the scanner in my house all day, 24/7. These calls you hear, go and Drake it,
Yeah.
go to such and such an address, a 13-year-old out of control, a 14-year-old out of control, a mother just slapped her daughter, no,
Yeah.
not daughter just slapped her mother.
You're being too nice.
Yeah.
They're usually the 4-year-old, the 8-year-old.
Really? Wow.
No, really,
Wow.
listen lately. I've
Yeah.
been to some of those calls,
Yeah.
and I show up, and it's an 8-year-old, and you walk in, and it's an 8-year-old that weighs 150 pounds, and
Right.
it's not emotionally all there, so
Yeah.
now you have to handle that, and they have enough strength to hurt you.
Yeah.
It's a tough
Yep.
decision
Yep.
for police officers. Some of
For a
those
parent to
calls,
have for a parent to have to call a cop on
yeah,
their
but
kid,
they
that young
shouldn't call
kid,
the
yeah.
cops. They should try their best to resolve that before they
Well, you're a
hand it
single
off to
parent.
the
What do you
police
do?
officer.
You're a
I
single
understand.
parent, what do you do?
Maybe you call your neighbors or your family,
I don't know my neighbors. I got 40 apartments next
and
door.
that's a problem.
I don't know a soul.
Then that's a
They're all
problem.
nice people, because they park in the parking lot when it's a snow day, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're all nice people. I don't know any of their names. They don't know my name.
That's because they're not going to church, they're not being involved in community activities.
But
It's
it's-
time to get engaged, people. Put your phones down and get engaged with your community. Know your neighbors.
I like this.
You know something? Know your neighbors.
Yeah.
Get out there and get engaged. It's sad that you don't know your neighbors. I walk with my dog every day, and honestly, I stop people because I was a politician for a short time. But now I even stop more. And hey, look, this is Diego. How you doing? You live in the neighborhood. Just beware. I'm always going to be around. If there's something out of place, I'm going to ask, and I'd rather know you now than when something is really bad going down. And that's the police mentality in me. Know your neighbors.
If you look at Lowell for the past couple of years, you had Marty Laurie, Corey Robinson, Eric Gitcher, trying to make sports a big deal in Lowell. And the reason why I brought up Lowell High School football is Lowell High, you got about 1,000 kids that are going to be incarcerated, okay? Why? Because we send them from the first grade to the second grade and they can't read.
Right.
Well, I was the same way. And I guarantee you there's people alive that will tell you across the street there was nobody that got the ruler more than me. And the first time I got elected, this is gospel, I went to every single person that hit me, gave me the ruler and some pretty severe things, bring you in the back closet and give you a beating. I went to every one of them and said, remember hitting me? And they went, oh God, you can't say that.
Yeah.
I went just like this, I'm here to give you a pay raise.
Thank you.
Because I had a divorce in my father and mother. And I didn't have, if it wasn't for my grandmother, I wouldn't be sitting here today. God rest her soul. But bringing me to church, forcing me to go listen to Latin, are you kidding me? With a camel hair cap, camel hair coat, dragging me up the street. I hated
You
it.
look so cute, Bobby.
No, it's
Yeah.
just,
You got any pictures of those?
right now, you got so many, so we send these, listen, you don't
They
think
didn't
it's.
have cameras
Let me
back then.
finish. You don't think it's a problem. If your kid can read in, let's say the third grade, and she's reading at the fifth grade level, half her class can't even read at a first grade level. So what do? And I've sat on buses chaperoning the Foxborough Stadium. You wouldn't believe how bad these buses are. But those kids act up. And your child is going to come to class every day and be bored. Bored, because they're going over old stuff for that other half of the class. Now, the part that the kids that are really bright, they're getting destroyed. The system has to change.
My grandson.
So again, vote for Zoe or Ho.
I have two
To
grandsons.
move it back.
Yeah.
I have two grandsons. One went to the Immaculate, the other one sat at the Shaughnessy. Now both of them at the Shaughnessy. But my grandson are both in the second grade because the older one was kept back a year. And I was at the Shaughnessy for an event, the Christmas event, Christmas singing thing, whatever. And I talked to one of the teachers who I knew years ago, and she said, your grandsons, I said, they kept them back. She says, they don't do that. They won't do that in Lowell. And she said it whispered, they won't. Lowell doesn't keep kids back. They don't.
They don't?
And the Immaculate, it's a good thing because now he's excelling. He gained that year and he's excelling now. He's doing good.
Yeah,
you know?
they gain some confidence too,
Yeah.
and that confidence goes a long way down the road. If you take that out and you put them in a environment where they're not comfortable, they go deeper and deeper into the wrong spot. I think sometimes you have to bring back the kids. You're the adults. Don't send the kid forward
The mother's
if
gotta
he's not
approve it.
ready.
Right.
If the mother doesn't approve it, it's not happening.
Yeah.
You're not keeping my kid back.
We have
Crazy.
more stay back because of sports than people that just
Oh, yeah.
having a hard time.
That's happening a lot now.
You know it as a coach.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Well, some of it is maturity, right?
Right.
We all know, we're all guys sitting here, right? All of us are not as mature as women, no matter how you slice it.
Absolutely
You know, I married a
Correct.
woman that's 16 years younger than me, and she's more mature than I am when I married her, and then
Yeah.
today, because it's just a natural instinct.
They have a lot, see,
You
they
know?
have a sense. It's like,
They,
yeah,
they have a sense, they have a
mother.
motherly instinct that we don't possess as
Yep.
men.
All I can
Simple as
say
that.
is, God bless your wife.
She's the best, 35 years and counting.
That's awesome.
40 years together, so.
Now, Bob, can a parent step in and say, you're not keeping my kid back?
Yeah, they can do that.
And what
They can
happens
do
if
that.
the teacher says
They'll
no?
send them on.
Oh, they will.
Of course, yeah.
Crazy. I stayed back I didn't go to kindergarten, so I stayed back in the first grade.
I did the same thing. I stayed back.
It's maturity.
I
Was
was traumatized. I still think of that girl that they line you up in kindergarten to do counting, right?
Right.
And I would have a difficult time because I was just thrown in without speaking English
Right.
to count to 10.
Yeah.
And then the little blonde girl that I still remember would go off to 100, and
Oh, yeah.
I was ready to kill her. And today I still would love to know who that girl was because it's crazy. So that traumatized. Talk about being.
Yeah.
Think of that.
But today you can't. Asking a kid a question in a classroom is traumatizing them. You can't. You got to be careful.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't
I
point
think-
out somebody's doing something wrong to the rest of the class. Oh, you're putting them in bad position.
I stayed back in second grade, best thing that ever happened to me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
loved it.
I see it in my grand. I see
It
in
builds
them already.
confidence
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
go back to the
It
next
did.
grade.
I said, I got this. I know what this is.
Yeah.
I loved it.
For my wife to be still with me after all these years, oh my God, I don't know how she does it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well,
Does
4
she read
days.
your stuff on Facebook?
Oh, she drives me crazy.
She reads it? Oh,
Oh,
your stuff?
every word she reads.
John.
Why did you say
My
that?
wife loves
Why
it.
can't you
My
say
wife
that?
reads your stuff, she loves it,
Oh,
so.
thanks.
John.
Thank you.
4 days from now, I'm celebrating my 50th. If you don't think my wife's been through hell,
50 years.
50 years, and I think
Wow.
John McDonough could be the same time.
She's, well,
50
your wife.
years.
And
He
my
just
wife.
celebrated his 50th.
gonna be
1975?
Yep, we did it in June.
Yeah.
Yeah. 50
you-
years.
What did you do? You had your,
His 50th anniversary.
Married 50 years.
Wow.
Back in June.
wow, 50
So Bob, you
years.
taking to Espresso Pizza that night, or were you gonna take?
Oh, no.
So
I usually go to Good Times.
Oh, George's Delicatessen, he loves that place.
George's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Louis,
times is good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell
We
you.
celebrated our 35th. And,
Hey, we went to the
15th
Nash last
September.
night, not what it could be.
No,
I'll tell you a real good place
Oh, really?
right now.
not good at all.
Milan's,
Well, for the
Milan's
food.
Pizza on Douglas and Roger Street.
Yeah,
They've improved
Yeah.
big time. Yeah, really good food.
Well,
we saw that earlier, the 25th
What was
back
the name
in
of that
February.
restaurant that we went to yesterday, the cafe? It's inside the Nash. It wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
John said he would have rather go to McDonald's for this burger.
Wow, that
Wow.
bad, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, McDonald's hamburger was better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a McDonald's.
Well, how
burger.
was
Once
your
in a while, let's
Nothing
go.
beats an
Only
Elliott.
the price.
Let's
Nothing,
go to McDonald's.
nothing beats an
together.
Elliott burger.
I got the app. We'll get a
Love the
discount.
Elliotts.
There you go. There you go.
Elliot's-
You're not in politics anymore, Cisco?
Oh, well, I'll rethink. I'm putting my signs away. I'm thinking,
I'm telling you,
I might
citywide.
rather stay back and support someone else, but I'll put my stuff aside, and if the community needs me, I'll step up all day
Need more,
long.
more of you. We
You
need
talked
more
about,
of
you talked about the issue with the residency. Johnny Dakota's not gonna make an issue of it, I heard. He's not gonna.
No, I mean, and the kid voted in November, which is November 2024, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I had the list. He didn't vote the last loco, which would give him the residency, and I honestly thought he was a student back in Baltimore, but he took a job after he left and what I would ask is, show me your W-2s, show me your taxes for 2024, and see where you pay taxes. It's going to be a John Kerry, I want to run here, I want your money, but I don't want to pay your
But
taxes.
they
What
did
does
the
the
same thing to
Bull Sun
Dominic. They did the same thing to Dominic Lake.
Cisco, what's Melanie say about this? Melanie Gilbert, what did she say about it?
On the reporter, she said, it sounds like he's all set because he voted in November, but that's still, it says, the rules say you have to have residency in your district.
So it sounds to me
In
that
your district.
Sounds to me
So-
that the Lowell Sun's gonna look the other way.
Of course.
Yeah, in your district.
Oh, not even just
He
be a
was
citizen of
in
Lowell?
Baltimore, yeah, in your district, not even Lowell. So
Where did he vote in '24? Baltimore or here?
he voted here,
In-
but
okay.
that's November.
Yeah.
He came back, he was transitioning, he was thinking politics, it was a smart thing to do, but he didn't vote the local, which was 2023.
Okay, guys, I gotta shut your mics off, I gotta do the announcements, otherwise Evelyn Thorne will kill me if I don't do announcements every day. So, Cindy Lang's having a party this week. The party's tomorrow night at Charlie's Pub, 14 Cabot Street in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts, so be there or be square. That's again tomorrow night for Cindy Lang's having a party. Page 2. The Bridge Club. The Bridge Club is one of the few organizations in Lowell that saves lives, saves families. Whatever you're addicted to, if you're addicted to picking your toenails or you're addicted to heroin, these people will help you. And they have an annual fundraiser worth every penny. I'm going to do what I can to go there. It's $125 a person, worth every penny, and it helps out a lot of people that you'd never ever meet. Someday you might need some help. So please consider supporting the Bridge Club. They're going to be honoring Karen Frederick. Karen Frederick, the whole community is a better place because Karen Frederick led CTI. She grew CTI to serve thousands of 58,000 people a year across 71 communities. She grew CTI to what it is today. Fabulous gal, and I'm glad she's getting honored on this Thursday night. And Derek Sanderson's going to be there from the Bruins. And again, consider going to this. If you take your fancy phone out of your pocket, put on this QR code, it'll bring you to a website. If you can't make it, send them $10, send them $100, whatever suits your wallet. They can certainly use your help. Moving right along to Danny Rourke's party. Blow it up a little bit. No, that's too big. Danny Rourke's party is coming up this week, October 9th. It's at the Athenian Corner, 207 Market Street, 5 to 7 p.m. Campaign for Lowell Mayor Danny Rourke. Suggested donations start at $20 and go up. Neighborhood meetings. Whatever your neighborhood is, take your phone out of your pocket, take a picture of this, and meet your neighbors. Like Cisco says, go meet your neighbors. It's a good idea. And go take a picture of the TBD, not a good thing. So you need to tell the cops where your meeting is. It's very helpful. Eric Gitch is having a party, and it's going to be at the Wappin Weft on Thursday, October 16th, hosted by Ryan Ferreira. No, Ferrier. Eric Gitch here for City Council. Donations start at $25 and go up at the Wappin Weft not this Thursday, next Thursday, October 16th, 197 Market Street. Exceptional breakfast. This happened out at the Tewksbury Senior Center. Go hungry. They don't care on this day for this breakfast, which is going to be Sunday, October 26th, they don't care where you live. You can do anything you want. They'd love to have you there. It's you can be 10 years old, you can be 100 years old. They don't care about your age. They don't care where you live. Just consider going to this event for a delicious breakfast. And I got more here. Oh, why this didn't come up automatic, I don't know. The People's House Rally, October 15th, rain or shine, Boston State House steps, 24 Beacon Street, audit the legislature, access public records, reform legislators' stipends. What are they hiding? And so I'll try to get a clearer picture of this because this has this line on the bottom here, but maybe I'll get a picture of this. And then everybody misses this stuff. The Chelmsford Senior Center, today is the 7th. Chelmsford Senior Center is going to have vegetable lasagna, marinated marinara with garden salad. Moving right along to Drake It. Drake It is going to have, today is the 7th, meatloaf with gravy, mashed potatoes. That sounds yummy. That's out the Drake It Senior Center. And moving right along to Lowell. Lowell has Herb Chicken. Good old Herb. He's a good guy. I like Herb myself. And the last one is Tewksbury. And Tewksbury today is going to have baked bean meatloaf. Meatloaf's a pretty good day today. Beef and turkey, mashed potatoes, mixed vegetables. So that's today's senior lunch all over the community. Back to you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so
Making me hungry, John.
Yeah.
Gee.
Cisco,
It's only $2 at the senior center.
Cisco, I'm glad you're on the show today with John Zimini. We had a great show.
Cisco's here every Tuesday.
Yeah, that's beautiful
I
because,
just got hired.
well, I
Another
still
reason for me to come, another reason for me to come.
Let's go, I'm here too.
I love it.
Bob, did you get paid during your absence? Because I haven't seen the checks come through, you know, I mean, I hope they paid you when you were.
He hasn't cashed those either.
I did. I
You know what I'm saying?
No, I meant for the show.
This is the coat that I wear, like John has when I was working for him. I reached in my pocket yesterday and I got a paycheck from when the day I had a heart
Oh,
attack.
my God, you haven't cashed it.
July 24th.
You gotta go cash that.
Oh, as soon as I leave here.
John is hoping you don't cash it.
No. Take a picture of that check, Bobby, because that check will live in infamy.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to make sure he gets that other check too before he leaves.
And all I can do is thank so many people from Lowell General Hospital, Tufts Hospital, Bubba Jermaine that works for him. I feel he's the one that started it, saved my life. Thanks, Bubba. And all I can say to everybody that the prayers, the visits, everything, thank you so much. That's all.
We were praying hard for you,
Yeah.
Bobby, for sure.
I hear you.
I'm glad.
Feels
see
good to
that.
be sitting here, believe
Prayers
me.
do work, my friend.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
But I'll say this, Cisco, okay? I've lost 3 times running for city council. It's not an easy race, but I believe they made a mistake not voting for
Oh,
you.
no question.
You're a great man, and I'm glad you're
He's
here
he'll
on
be
the
back.
show.
No, we'll
You'll
be
be
back.
back.
No, I
I
hear
mean, we did a really good job. We got on 207 votes up there on. We got, both me and the incumbent got beat by the kid that lives in the basement, but on which.
That's socialist?
Yeah, that's socialist, yes.
beat you?
He
Oh,
beat-
my God.
He
You know-
chopped the ticket, 273, but again, out of 9,500 registered voters, we had 700 people
You
vote
mentioned
in the preliminary.
That's
So,
How would they know it was
Bobby.
voting day?
yeah.
Yeah.
Blame that all on our shitty manager. I know you love the guy,
I love it.
$1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day guy we have running the city.
Tom,
of
what do you
Lowell.
want to say?
I was just going to say, I know what happened to you. It's obviously it's limited your campaigning, hasn't it? Are you out
Oh, it
there,
has.
right?
I only
Making
got
phone
about-
calls, you're making,
Well, I only got about 50 signs out. I'm really not that concerned about winning or losing. I hope I win, but
Yeah.
I won the school seat 4 times.
Yeah.
This will be my 5th if I win. But I like Zoe a little bit, like myself, for the next person to change. Because we already know we're going to have big change. One of them is gone. One of the headaches to me is gone.
Yeah, you
We
gotta
still
get rid of
got,
the other one.
we
Yeah.
still got one. It's going to be very tough to beat her because the one that left, most of her supporters will fall to her, I believe, but you never know. So again, I'm going to say it for the last time. If you want change in Lowell, Danielle McFadden's going to top the ticket, then you have Zoe or Ho. There you go.
you
That's
remember
all.
that.
That's
Hey,
how
Tom,
I
you want to
feel.
read these? These are the last text of the day.
Speaking of cop videos, how about the Mass State Trooper who jumped through the driver's window to obtain the driver's backpack on the passenger seat? Did you see that video? Did the driver have his civil rights violated by the trooper's actions? Thanks for your perspective. I've seen parents request that their students stay back in school and district did not allow it. Remember the old Walbrook pizza on the panel? I do.
That's what my wedding was. I'll never forget it. I got $3,500 25 years ago.
No.
I didn't see the video, so I will try to look for that, and if I see it, I'll make reference to it next Tuesday.
You know,
Walbrook was mostly Italian food, pizza and stuff.
yeah, it was a great place.
Best pizza.
But,
Hunter's Haven was great too.
Oh,
you know, nowadays it's really simple, kind of simple to become a policeman because no one wants the job. But in Lowell, try to be a fireman and you're not related to one of them. Try it.
Cisco,
Have it. It's unbelievable.
I have to ask you a question. Why are people on the Democratic side really swaying towards socialism? When a Democrat says, I'm a democratic socialist, that is just opening the door to communism and socialism.
I think they're losing their base. They've changed so much that now they're looking for a different base, and they think that there's enough people on the extreme side that they're going to get the votes they need to win. Or they're going to engage those. Think of it. If you can engage only 10% and you have 10% that are on the left, you win. Think of
right.
it. It's numbers. It's a numbers game.
It is.
So So left are real loud right now, and they're out there. If you look online, right, you got these 25-year-old kids all engaging in videos. Look at this Charlie Kirk. I didn't even know Charlie Kirk, who he was, and that's kind of brought me into, should I be in politics? Because the kid that I had working for me almost cried all night because what happened.
I was so affected by it.
He was taken back by the whole thing, and he's a left. And my thing is that Democrats have looked at the numbers and have decided that if they can engage that left ideology, they're going to have the numbers to get their power back.
It's so sad.
And
I mean, New York City is about to elect
Well,
communists.
exactly.
And
So
it's
they
beyond my belief.
they're doing it's a numbers game. Honestly, again, folks, if you're not engaged, they don't care about you, and they're going to do whatever it takes to keep that power. And if they have to swing it, the pendulum swings one way, and that percentage is greater. That's the folks they're going to engage with. They're going to keep the power, and they're going to, give them some of the stuff they want. But at the end, they want the money and the power.
And my experience with politics, being involved in politics and law for so many years, is primaries mean nothing. I think Dakota will win. I think Rethiem will win. I think it was just a fluke thing. I think,
I hope so, but again, I just told you, numbers. Think of the numbers, 10%. If you get 10% on the other side,
Well,
you win your election.
Rita said last week when she was here, she was hoping there was a primary in her race, because you get a little feel what's going on, a little something what's going on.
Know what I like about Rita this year? She's nervous. She's scared.
Oh, she is. She was, yeah.
She's scared. She's
But you
thinking,
got to run scared.
You run
well, she's
scared every
thinking
time.
changes are coming. But Tom, I'd like to put a motion in. I move that we have Cisco as one of the co-hosts on Tuesdays.
Wow.
Can I get a second?
That's going to affect our pay.
Can I second it? I'm an outsider. I can't second it.
I think it's already happening.
I think John made that decision.
He's already hyped, Bob.
He didn't even ask me, but I'll be here, John.
Well, you know it's good because
Hey,
it's what,
tomorrow's City
Tom,
Life, we got tomorrow's City Life, Linda
and
Baum's gonna be
Bobby.
the host. City Councilor John Dakota's gonna be here. And
Awesome.
Lowell's Mayor, Danny Rourke.
no, it's good about that,
Shot.
boy, because if one of us, you or I can't make it, we have somebody here to back us up, or vice versa.
And I got a lot to learn from you guys,
Yeah.
especially politics. You guys are so more involved. Because I was a police officer for 29 years and a supervisor, I stayed away from politics. So
Yeah.
now that I'm engaged and learning more, I'm going to look for you guys. You guys have years. Hopefully I can be around for many more years together, and hopefully you can inspire me to continue doing the political thing
You
that
know
you
what
guys are so engaged
what I'm really
in.
hoping for is, what I think you did with a few other Hispanics is maybe getting the Hispanic people out to vote, because normally they don't vote. So,
They're conservative.
no, I'm
Most
hoping they come out to
Hispanics are
vote.
conservative.
Listen, I went after all the Lunas, and I'm going to attack them in the next week, the Luna family. They'll take me to the moon and back without asking any questions. And they're a popular Spanish family in the city. And that's what I'm doing. I actually done quite a bit to try to get Spanish votes.
Yeah, but Bobby, I thought I could engage the Latino community, and they didn't come out. I looked at the numbers, and I thought if I could get them engaged, and I think we were handicapped, again, because John said the city didn't go out of their way to advertise the preliminary, because the incumbents is what's favored by the management. They already got it in the paper that say, oh, the city's not going to have this front-runner city if you don't have the same councilors. Oh, Lake Project
Yeah.
might be in danger.
Cisco-
Billions of dollars
Cisco,
being
we have
spent in low.
City councilors, they don't want you to have all I want you to do is, it's 2025. I want a text message. Today is the last day you can vote. That's all I wanted. And there are city councilors going, nah, we're not going to do that.
You know, I
Well,
think,
maybe you'll get one of the new
Well,
councils to
it
do
was
John.
actually very effective, because that's one thing I didn't do, and Marcos Candido did on Election Day, and his base came.
that doesn't mean nothing. You might,
No, no,
you might
no.
have lit the match on a lot of Spanish people.
No, I hope so. You really wanted to engage. Look,